All right, good morning, everyone. It's Lindsay Duff, Monday, June 12th. The market does not open for about another 15 minutes or so. I just want to talk a little bit about what's going on. So, as we're looking here, we've made a pretty decent push down on all of our charts. We've gotten below the EMAs. But what's happened here is we're pulling right back into the zero line. The MACDs are starting to push up on the 1597. So I was looking at a little bit of a head and shoulders as this was pulling back. It hasn't really taken off for today. But, we have an area here that's kind of held things up a little bit. We want to watch what's happening. My anticipations were definitely to the downside, but as it's pulling up and rolling off of the zero line area and trying to push up here, MACDs and price leading much, much higher than they were at the end of day on Friday. They are leading a little bit lower than right at this point, but you can see in the long run, everything's leading a little bit higher. So it may be a little bit of a confusion point. It may not. I may let it work out for just a little bit before everything gets going. So I'm going to pause it. We'll come back to it a little bit later. Okay, so the day has been started, and the push to the downside just isn't following through. So we can see that happening, just kind of doing a little pop-up here every time. Yeah. All right. All right. Just sitting back down. Ooh, I would have loved to take a little bit of a short from there, although just not quite what I want in the way of the setup. The pullback is happening here. It's almost like the head and shoulders is finally happening on the 1597. I am anticipating a short to happen. EMA staying below. I'm just kind of watching it right now. I have messages coming through. What? I really want to take a short here, but I just had messages coming through. It's not like the right thing to do at the moment. Give this just a moment to see. Yeah, here we go. Boom. Right here. All right. Let it push down. So I need a push from here. Don't like the way the MACDs are slowing down on the 610, but we've got to remember it doesn't lead the way. 100% would be right about here. We're going to watch as it gets to the 61%. Taking the exit at the area. There we go. Do I think this could continue down? Absolutely. We've got a lot of strength down on the highest time frame EMA. It's hit an area that's held up quite a few times, so I wanted to go ahead and take my exit there. The MACDs are still showing strength down on the 610, I'm sorry, on the 1597 and on the 4181. So yes, I do believe this is going down further. I am good with taking my first area for an exit. I'll look for my next trade setup when it happens, which could have been this little tiny pullback. I could have definitely stayed in this longer. I'm going to mark the next exit as it happens. And yes, I know what, I think it's Randy who tells me to take my first trade out and then let it run, which would probably be about the same time now as the weakness is happening on the MACDs to push down. But really, let me move this out of the way. It's kind of blocking my view here. And I do want to mark that 100% down here, just kind of for... I think that's where the 100% was. Let me just go ahead and check that one more time. Oh, a little bit higher. Right about there. It says it could still go down a little bit more. Your MACDs are pretty strong down still on your 4181, but remember, those take longer to turn. We're pulling right back into this area again. There's only one line I like to think about on the, it's the 40% lines. I'm sorry, fit right below, yeah. Let's just watch what I see now. Had I been in this trade, I would have moved my wrist down, or stayed in this trade. I would have moved my wrist down still below, above here, but I don't like the way the MACDs are starting to pop up, so I would have been sweating it just a little bit. Oh, yeah, there we go. There's that pop-up. Something else I want to talk about is this kind of look right here as it pulls down. This has happened several times, not necessarily on this chart. Well, here it happened right here as it's pulled down, pushed up, pulled down. It's happened several times on here. We just see it struggling to push through a lot of times. And what happens a lot of times is the MACDs will just kind of hang out and not push past a certain area as everything is weakly opening up. And so we see this look happen often, and it could definitely continue down. Yeah, it's probably going to keep pushing down. All right. So it pulled back again, it pushed down. It's right into this area again. To me, now that we've pulled into this area so many times and it hasn't pushed through, let's watch it prove it to us. Push through, pull back. Your highest time frame tells you that it should probably push through. The MACDs are rolling off of the area. Your EMAs are starting to attempt to open up. They've been very, very weak over here on the 1597, which says that they can be easily violated. You can break above them and back below them pretty easily. It's getting all the way and breaking back above these EMAs that on the highest time frame that are just kind of hanging out there. I mean, yes, there's an opportunity here. To me, it feels very, very late and right back into the area that's been holding. The move is more up in here. It does give an opportunity. I know a lot of students who would be in at this point, right about here. I'd like to see a little bit more confidence in the MACDs that this is going down, and it could just as easily just crush to the downside. But I'd like to see a little bit more conviction in those MACDs that this is going to continue. I'm going to remove this line. Anyways, it did come down to the area. There it goes down to 100%. So holding through all of this would have been a total pain in my booty. So, getting in these pullbacks when they happened would have been wonderful. I was distracted. All right. So this is given a pullback for the attempt for a pushback down. MACDs are heading to the upside on the 610, which tells me I want to wait just a little bit. Still are... Yes, this is pointing down. Yes, there's a lot of distance to run back to this area, so it may pull back to here before it pushes down. It may push down from here, but I have this, once you separate from these EMAs, they act like a magnet to snap back to it. You don't have a ton of strength opening up to the downside on the 4181, so we want to see... and right now I'm going to also mark. Just want to look at this one back down here really quick. So that'll work for now. Now, something I have to remind myself, guys, of quite often whenever this type of thing is happening, and I'm drawing these lines on here, I'm remembering that I'm the one drawing those lines. And they may not be in the exact right point, and they are areas. They're not exact prices. So, these are areas anticipated to hold or to break. And how do we anticipate if they're, if we're looking for them to hold or break? Well, this area, according to the 610, should probably start breaking. The EMAs are opening up. You're slowing down your MACDs. But I really want to see these other higher time frames agree. We've got to slow down at the area. If it could, it might pull back just a little bit further before it pushes down. This nice head and shoulders movement did move us to the downside. Just had to push up a little bit more before it happened. I'm really limiting my time with trading this week since I'll be working on, I have peace and quiet here. I don't know if you've noticed, but there's no people talking in the background. So I will be working on my curriculum this week. This is just such a weak look. They are going down with each price bar, but it's really struggling to keep up with this push down. So it's kind of the same look right here in the MACDs that we saw right here. The price was telling you push down, but the MACDs were saying, not just yet, not just yet, not just yet. Okay, here we go. There's that little bit of divergence. Another push down. There's the MACDs really keeping up with it on the 610. MACDs are strong against it. It is rolling below the 0 line. Okay, so I saw plenty of opportunities to want to take this short. I even marked one here, but I was watching these MACDs, and as they pushed up, I knew there was no actual opportunity to take a short trade at that time. So I just wanted to wait a little bit longer, and I'll go ahead and remove that. And I'm glad I did, because it did do exactly what I was anticipating. Because look what happens here. Prices, MACDs have pushed up. This is all the MACDs have pulled down with all of this pullback all the way back into the support area. Strong push, weak retracement of the MACDs. Typically, we would anticipate it to continue to the downside in that direction, but this is basically sitting right around the zero line, right into an area that has already given a bounce back to the upside. So, you know, we haven't had a whole ton of follow through. Look at how far down the price came and the MACDs came before. And this is all the reaction we've had back to the downside following. Okay, I had to step away for a while and I missed quite a bit. But as you can see, I'm coming back right now. It's made a slow move up. It's making a slow move down. It actually gave me a great entry, which I attempted and didn't make, and then started my recording again. So here we are. Okay, so I've been in and out all morning. I mean, if you want to go back and look over the things that were available besides the one trade I took, I'll show you some entries and some exits. I mean, there was definitely the opportunity a little bit further back here. I wasn't comfortable until this point. When it pulls back and the MACDs are leading lower here and even right in here, all entries. This did give you some opportunities with MACDs leading lower. You would have to be pretty quick on the draw to take the exit right about here. And let me show you those other exits back here just so we can... If you stayed in this trade a little bit longer, of course both the dogs are going to start eating right as I start recording, because that's what they like to do. There's pullbacks and pushes below at this point. By that time, I just want to kind of look at all the charts. At that time, you've got a lot of strength coming up in your MACDs. I didn't feel, I don't feel comfortable taking any of those shorts. Could you possibly take a long? Absolutely. Whenever it pulls back right in here while things are still pushing to the upside, somewhere in this area. Now you'll want to watch what happens here. So price pulls up, it comes down, it pulls back up, it makes a lower pivot. So you start looking for your exit, and it's making a lower pivot right as it is pulling up into the 1597 EMA. Now, we're back above the zero line, which happens often. It's not a big deal, but it does tell me as we're pulling back down towards it that not necessarily looking for any kind of short trade right here, because it's made a strong move. It kind of died out at that point. And I was considering a short there because I did sit down for a few moments there, but I didn't take anything. It just didn't really work out. Typically what you see is a strong move and a push back down. So it did a strong move, it pulled up, it attempted to push back down right here, but nothing happened. So if you didn't take, and actually there's more short entries right in here and right in here, it makes the double bar and starts to push up. If you're not out by this point, you definitely want to be out somewhere over here once your MACDs start rolling to the upside. I was sitting down at this point. I walked away pretty soon after this. Now, does it give you opportunities for the long trades here? Absolutely. It pulls back into the area. If you trade from the area, then you would be, in anywhere right in here, or if you're just looking at the moves. And, each time it pulls up, it gives you exit opportunities. Flattens out, it pulls up, gives you a reversal bar leading lower, it pulls back up here, just flattens out and starts pushing down. So it was not really following through on anything here, and you can see on the higher time frame, it couldn't even push past the EMA at that point. Okay, waiting for the dogs to finish. And, I'm sure they'll come back to it. All right, so this pulls back up again, it does give you the opportunity to take another long trade. But as that's happening, your MACDs are starting to head down pretty heavily on all of the time frames. So when it pulls down and it comes back up right in this area, what you can see is a long bar, potentials for the move to the downside. It pulls back in right here, gives you another opportunity. Flat EMAs, remember, means it's easy to violate. You know, with all these pushes up, these EMAs should have really been opening to the upside, kind of like they were doing here with the pushes down, but that never happened. So it's just like what's happening right now, just to the opposite side. So look what happened. It pushed back below things. It gives you, I want to do it here so it shows up. I think I have the other one set so it doesn't show up on everything. It pushes back below things. It pulls up into areas to give you potential entries. You have quite a few as it pulls back, any of these guys. And this is why I hate having quote-unquote specific rules. Look at all these opportunities, anything in here, so that you have a really good risk on the trade. You know, you don't want to be any further than 5 ticks, which is what I personally use. So let's see. If we got in here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, would put us right about the high of here. So once it pulls down, it comes back up and pushes down again, you can move your wrist down a tick. And then it continues to do that. It pulls back over and over again and gives you entry opportunity after entry opportunity. Had you gotten in here, you may have been stopped out as it pulled back in here, and you know, I could see the reason to enter. And then it pulls back, gives you quite a few opportunities right in here. I did consider taking this trade. I even considered taking it right here because I was watching it. But at this point, what's happening is I'm looking at my higher time frame. We're getting right back into the area that is already held once before, so now it's holding twice. You can see what's happening. You're having just a little bit higher pivot each time, and the EMAs have not opened up to the downside. And I'm going to remove all of these arrows in just a minute, but you can see how many opportunities this market actually gives a person when they give it its full attention. There's all kinds of exits, reversal bars, exits, reversal bars, exits, everything right in here. If you wait too long, you've even got exits in here as the MACDs are really pushing up strong. So now it's pulled back into the area. Am I attempting to take another short trade? Absolutely not. We have some strong MACDs coming to the upside on your 1597. Your EMAs are starting to open up, which gives it a little bit more weight. You still have open EMAs to the downside here, but with the MACDs and the price leading higher, and let me just remove these so we can see it a little bit more clearly. There we go. There we go. As you can see, what's happening here on this chart, the price and the MACDs have both pulled down to the same area. Price is leading just a little bit higher. You're rolling off of the area again, and this time with a lot of strength and conviction. Enough to push the MACDs back above the zero line. Look at this strong push back up compared to all the previous pushes back up. The last time we had a strong push like that, it got us back above the area. So we still are below the zero line on the 1597, which is we do still have the potential for a short trade, but you've had that pull away and that snap back to the area. Right now, I'm not going to give this a whole much more of my time. I've got about 10 more minutes of time that I'm going to give this, and then it's getting put away. I don't even think I'm going to give it that much. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start working on things now that I have peace and quiet. So I got one trade for today, guys. It was, you know, it is what it is. Let me put this on here so we can see what it looks like here. There it is. So here it looks like I'm definitely late on the move, right? With the strong MACDs to the downside. But in reality, what's happening is it gave me a nice little tiny pullback. MACD is strong down. And I think I was maybe just a hair or two late on the exit. And obviously, I didn't take anything else after that. Hey, you know, our goal is to make 2 points a day. So I've got 2 contracts here. I made 2 1/4 off of each one of those. So 4.5 points for today. There was a ton of opportunities that I didn't take. I'm not going to cry over them because then that's what starts the frustration for people. Oh, I'm sorry, one trade. 2 contracts plus 0.5. You know, if you worry too much over what you've missed, then you're not prepared for what's coming up next. And I just have a lot of things on my plate, a lot of things I'm going to do. And that's going to wrap it up for today. So, hope you guys have an excellent day, and I will see y'all back here tomorrow. If I do decide to take another trade later on today, since I don't have the normal type of distractions that I would have, I will record it. I'll put it back out there as part 2, but otherwise, this is all I've got. So, and don't forget to like and subscribe, you know, share with your trading friends if you want. I mean, I really do this because I've been with these businesses for so long that I know that people aren't getting everything that they need. I do offer coaching, and I do work with programs that will help you get started if you need to learn from the beginning. I would be the one that's coaching you if you go through those programs. And as I said, I'm working on building something that's going to make this simplified. Now, I am not going to give you exact entries and exact exits because as I just showed you, there's way more than just one entry and one exit. So what my goal is to teach you how to flow with the market and teach you where the higher probability trades, and, you know, teach you that just be prepared and take the trades that you see and move on with your day. This is not supposed to take over your entire life, which I have let it take over my entire life, but that's because I'm doing it from a different aspect than just trading throughout the day. If you're sitting in front of your desk trading from market open to market close, you're doing yourself a disservice as a trader. We're here because we are allowed to do what we want, take our time, come back to it when we want. I actually took a nap earlier before I started recording again. So, you know, I mean, that's just part of it. Anyways, as I said, have a great day, everyone. And hopefully I will have some things out for y'all soon that will help you stay on the right track. So have a great day.